Welcome to the Dr. Ili Adesina podcast. I have various U.S. and international accounting and tax designations, a master's in tax, and a PhD in business administration with a concentration in finance and accounting. Over the past 2 decades, I have helped several SMEs succeed. Welcome to the Dr. This podcast will provide strategies and resources to startups and existing businesses and masters in tax. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Another interesting topic. So very excited. This is December and we're getting to the end of the year. I just think it's a blessing to be able to, get into the last month of the year. So I always say that it's very important to be very grateful and thankful. And a shout out to everyone that has watched, commented. I know some of you have not yet subscribed. Please go ahead and do that. The goal is to make sure that, we make SMEs to thrive. That's my goal. It has been a fantastic 2022. I know I just started this really focusing on it in the last quarter. So I started with recordings, then I went live, I think the second or third week of the month of, I think October, yes. So I'm very excited. And so as I close out the year, but again, this is the first episode of or in December. So very excited. So today I want to share another interesting topic. And one of the things that business owners ask, they ask should they buy a car or should they lease? That is really an issue that businesses struggle with. And I'm not talking about large businesses. Remember, this is SME, small businesses, medium-sized business that just want to know, okay, what do I do? Do I buy? Do I lease? Right? What is the best for me, for my company? I know that I use my vehicle for the business, right? So what is the best for me, right? So I'm just going to break down a few pointers, and hopefully that this will really, impact or benefit an SME. The first is the payments. Right? The payments. Now, you have to, when we look at buying and leasing, right? A lot of times, if you want to buy, usually you have to have some kind of down payment, right? Sometimes, yes, there's 0%. I have people that have 0, but a lot of times they would, some companies will ask you to some kind of down payment. Leasing, they don't, it's just a monthly fee that they are the fee is the lease payment. So first of all, what you need to ask yourself is that, do you have the capital? Do you have enough money? You have the capital, right? What do you have to put forth, right? Do you have that capital? Do you have the money? Now, if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of capital, right? You might say, okay, yes, you might have an option of, okay, yes, I'm going to someone that says no down payment. Don't put anything down, right? Don't put anything down, right? And buy the car. But in the lease aspect, you just say pay a monthly fee. Now, I want you to be careful when they say don't put anything down, because a lot of times when they say don't put anything down, the interest rates are high. So I want you to analyze that and say, okay, is it something I should buy even though I'm not putting anything down? So make sure you weigh everything, right? So the first is the amount you want to invest, the capital, right? So if it's like, okay, I don't have a lot of money, well, of course, there's 0%, put down zero down payment, nothing. And then, after maybe a couple of months, we have something that it's, is that you can, you pay some kind of amount, then they defer the interest after some time. So that's one of the things you should consider. What kind of capital do you have? What kind of money do you have to invest in this? So that's the first one. The second one is there's something called depreciation. And really, when I tell people, I don't want to get too technical. I don't want to get too much into the accounting taxation. But what happens, depreciation is the wear and tear of something, let's say a vehicle, right? A vehicle has this way, the vehicle would have this wear and tear, anything you use, right? If you use something within a couple of months, you will not be, it's not going to be new anymore, right? So the wear and tear, right? The wear and tear of that item, that's what depreciation does, right? Let's say something, just for the purpose of this, I'm just going to make it very basic, but I just want to explain. Now, let's say something costs $100, right? You bought $100, let's say, it could be any kind of, maybe, let's say even the car. I know you can't buy a car for $100, but I just want to make sure that we calculate it well. Then they say this car lasts for 5 years. So every year, the value of the car will decrease by $20. $20. So $100, then it becomes 80, then it becomes 60, 40, 20, and then it has no value, even though you're keeping your car for over 5 years. All right. So one of the things that if you buy the vehicle, you can have that benefit of depreciation, because depreciation means that you can actually take that. Remember I said $100, 80, 60. So every year you can put $20, take $20 as a deduction, and of course it will reduce your taxes, right? So usually that's really one of the benefits of buying a car, because when you buy a car, you can actually take that deduction, right? You can take that deduction, that depreciation deduction, right? So that is a great thing, which is not available for leases. All right. Just wanted to let us know that. And of course, we can break down depreciation. There's so many benefits when you can look at the depreciation. There's even a section 179 depreciation also, but that one even allows to actually depreciate the whole $100 at once. Of course, certain conditions apply. You must use the vehicle for over 50% of use, right? You have to say that you must use the vehicle over 50% for business. So, but just know that depreciation is a big thing when it comes to buying the vehicle. You get that deduction, which is huge. So again, you're thinking of, do I buy or do I lease, right? The great thing is that when you get that deduction, it reduces your income and it reduces the taxes you pay, right? Now for leases, yes, you can get a deduction for the lease payments, but there's a certain there's something that is called lease inclusion amount. So you might not really get the full deduction for the lease. Let me tell you what, and I always like to make sure that it makes sense to me, and that's how I always analyze things. Now, come on, if somebody says I'm going to lease a Lamborghini or a Bentley, that's one person, right? And another person says, you know what, I'm going to lease a Honda, right? Do you think it would be fair if that person that leases a Honda gets, takes, let's say the Honda would, of course, the lease will be less, right? Less lease payments. Assuming the Honda is $500 a month, right? Or $300 a month, and the Bentley is $1,000. Now, do you think it would be fair if the person that leases a Bentley gets $1,000 deduction and the other one gets $300, right? Right? It's not really fair, right? It's not fair. So what happens is that the Internal Revenue Service comes up with a lease inclusion deduction, where that it changes usually changes yearly, where that not the whole amount, depending on a lot of criteria, but the entire amount is not deducted. It's just it could be the entire amount, but sometimes there's a lease inclusion amount that means that you don't deduct all the value of the vehicle, so of the lease vehicle. So remember, what is our goal? To see, do we lease, do we buy? All right. So this is some of the pointers when it comes to you can deduct the lease expense, the lease payments, but there are limitations. As I said, example was Bentley, as I said, and the Honda. I'm just using figures out there. I'm just putting up figures there. Okay, that is one point, right? Another point, which is very important too, everything is important, is the mileage. The mileage, and you have to really sit back. And I said, that's why, there is no blanket decision that is for it's not like the shoe fits everybody, right? If you are someone that drives a lot for business, please listen to what I'm saying. If you drive a lot for business, then in that case, you have to be careful when it comes to leases. A lease always gives a threshold, mileage threshold. And if you drive above that threshold, you're going to pay additional fees for that, right? So you have to think. That's why I said it's not, oh yeah, it's better for you to buy a lease, or sorry, to buy a car as avoiding or buy a car, then don't do the lease. You have to analyze what situation works for you. Now, you might be someone that really you don't drive. You don't drive so much. You drive, but not so much for your business. You drive over 50% of the car usage, the mileage, yes. But you don't drive like, you don't drive so much. If that's you, then you can look at the lease, right? But of course, remember, we're going through a couple of factors. And I always tell people, look at the big picture. Don't say that I'm taking only one to stand on. No, look at everything that applies, all right? I talked about mileage. Mileage is huge when it comes to people that are, let's say, salespeople, right? Or people that are salespeople in their business. Well, they have their business, but their business is sort of like advertising and sales. That's what they do, right? They have to talk to people. They have to move around, right? Yes, that's what they do. They are a business, but their business is all about advertising and sales. They're going out to talk to people, all right? So very, very important, right? So mileage, very important. Now, one thing that tax allows us to do is that it allows us to deduct either the standard mileage or the actual expense. Now, when we're talking about mileage here, so what happens for the standard mileage? It says it allows you to say there's a standard miles that the IRS comes out with every year, right? Sometimes it doesn't change from the previous year, but sometimes it changes. And so when we're looking at that, people opt for the standard. Some people opt for the actual. Actual, it means actual, as the name implies, that means what you actually spent in, with your gas, insurance, all that stuff, right? Now, for a lease, right, you can only elect to use the standard mileage in the first year of the lease, right? Then it goes on like that, right? But the vehicle, but when you purchase a vehicle, it's not like that. You don't have to elect that first year only. Now, the issue here is if you want to look at, standard and you want to look at actual, right? I always tell people that if you're not very good with keeping up with your expenses, if you're not very good with, keeping up, like when I say keeping up, I mean keeping documentation, because, when you take actual mileage, you can always, you have to show documentation, but standard, you don't. You just have to prove the miles, right? You have to prove that, show your miles, not the gas and things like that, right? So when it comes to leases, right, it's a bit challenging because you have to make sure that you elect that first year. If you forget that first year, of course, maybe you can think of amending the return, but you have to look at what really, really works when it comes to actual expenses or standard mileage, right? Now, another aspect that we see is that, when we're looking at the weight of the car, we're looking at the weight of the car. The weight of the car matters when it comes to buying the vehicle, because if a car is over 6,000 pounds, what happens? The car actually can take a higher deduction when it comes to the section 179 and other stuff, other depreciation expenses. I know that I said I was not going to break that down, but the benefit of that of buying is that there are so many, like you get the deduction, you can run with standard mileage. You might say, okay, you know what, I will do actual there, but there's a lot of restriction even if it comes to leases. But it still depends on what is it that works for you. One of the things I talked about seriously is the mileage, right? The mileage, even if you say that you don't have a lot of money to put down for a vehicle, it's very important for you not to put down something that, use a lease where the lease the lease will give you more expenses, more payments, more payments because you exceeded the mileage. So I would say that even before you start thinking of, okay, which one do I go for first? Cross the mileage gap first. Close that, will I say check that mileage gap and see what really works. Check that mileage gap and see what really works for you. Because again, if you're someone that drives a lot, then don't even look at leasing. Don't look at leasing, all right? And then also, whether you're choosing, standard mileage, you still have to, standard rate, you still have to keep the standard rate. You have to keep documentation, not the standard rate, you have to keep documentation for mileage. So when we're looking at what do you choose, which one is the best for you? Which one do you believe that works best for you? Make sure, first and foremost, that, we talked about mileage. We look at what comes out of your pocket. Do you have a lot of capital to put down? If you don't, then you should think of, going through the lease. And then also, I hope we all know that loans, when you take a car note, the interest paid is also a deductible amount. All right. So I would say that do some analysis and see, some people might say that, oh, I like lease cars because I can always change and flip my car and change. That's fine. You have to look at what works for you. But I will tell you I look at what makes economical sense, right? What makes financial sense, right? Remember, one thing about business, everything is tied together, right? If you spend so much money on a vehicle, right? Just because you want other people to see what is it that you're driving, make sure that other areas of your business is not suffering, so that you will not end up having a vehicle without a business. Okay. So make sure you're double checking, making sure you're analyzing, making sure you're working to see what works for you when it comes to either lease or buy. I've told you about depreciation. I've explained to you about, the benefits of, all those deductions, right? When it comes to buying a vehicle, right? You might say I'm tailoring towards buying, but I will say what really works for you. Because remember, when you have a vehicle, buy a vehicle, mileage is not the issue. You can drive your mileage, you drive in as many places as you want. And now, I also want to highlight something very specific that people make a mistake in, including in mileage. Please, right, whether you're leasing a vehicle or whether you're buying a vehicle, make sure you do not include commuting mileage, okay? Commuting mileage, you cannot, what is commuting? Let's say that you are someone that has an office space, you rented an office space, that's your office, right? A business person, this is your office space. And you drive your vehicle from your house to your office, right? You're a business owner, that's the rented part and everything. And you drive your vehicle back, right? Home. That is commuting, right? From your house to your vehicle, from your house to your office and back. Now, if you're driving from your house or from your office to see a client, to see a customer, right? To meet up with your CPA, to go out for go out for anything business related, that specifically, that is not commuting, So make sure you do not include commuting mileage when you're calculating mileage, either for your business or, for a lease, for your lease, or for your purchase vehicle, right? So really make sure you know that. Do not include commuting mileage, because some people say, what is really commuting mileage? Commuting mileage is what I explained to you, but I just want you to remember that commuting mileage is not mileage that you can claim. You cannot claim it as a mileage when it comes to, okay, what are my business mileage? That is not business. Going from your house to your office, rented office and back, even though it's that rented office, your business. Now, if you're someone that is freelance, you work from home, then you travel from your home all the way to a client place, right? That is not commuting. That is business mileage. So hopefully I have cleared that up. So in summary, if you're choosing between a leased vehicle and a purchase directly, buying a vehicle, you have to analyze. I will not say that this is the exact best way for you because there are different situations and scenarios that apply. So you have to look at what works for you. But I just wanted to highlight some of the differences, right, between leasing and buying. Remember, you cannot depreciate when it comes to leasing. I hope I mentioned that. All right. So I hope I've been able to, support or a business or share knowledge that will make sure that your business does what thrives, your SME thrives. All right. Okay. So I know as we're finalizing in this year, and I told you guys that we moved, or my family moved. I'm very happy about that. And so trying to sort out the logistics and getting my guests and everybody in place. I will, trying to analyze that. We'll see what we're going to do for the year to end throughout the year, the end of the year. Oh my goodness, throughout the end of the year. But to the end of the year, I think we have about 3 Tuesdays left. Then it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of guests and professionals, as we've already had. But I'm going to make sure that, we have, even a round table to make sure that, we're touching a lot of points. We want to make sure that our viewers, that anybody that watches this would have a very great experience. I know you guys are already having great experience. I really appreciate all the feedback and, those that have spent some time to watch. I've seen a lot of people have been watching, so go ahead and subscribe, and send in your questions, because what I answer on this platform, when people hear what I answer, they too would benefit, anybody that hears, right? I'm going to have some questions that I'm going to read out now and respond. And as you send in your questions, as you send your recording, it's going to be something that I would respond to, and somebody else would benefit from it, in addition to you that sent in the question. All right. So let's go straight to our questions and see what is the next question. Okay. I have too much inventory. It's just taking up space. How do I manage it? Okay. I think I don't know if I think I've answered this, but if I haven't, I'm going to mention one inventory management system. I believe I think I did, but even if I haven't, or if I did, let me repeat it. There's something called just-in-time inventory management system. But what is just-in-time? What does that mean? It means that, just like the name says, just in time. If orders inventory are actually tailored towards purchases. When people purchase it, then inventory is produced. It reduces storage. Inventory storage. It's such a beautiful, if you're dealing with inventory, you don't have that inventory management system, a good one. Think of that just in time, right? Of course, you have to work and see the frequency of your orders. You have to see how that would work. But just-in-time management, inventory management system. And again, this is not advertising any specific inventory management system. This is something that even that many inventory management systems they do is called, but it's focused on just in time to get that order out. So if you have too much inventory, it's taking up space, right? Now, I don't know how your inventory, what kind of inventory you have, because let's say it's inventory that has a shelf life, right? It expires or something like that. You have to be very careful, right? Stocking up inventory is not good when it has a shelf life. It can't stay long. It might, so you have to make sure that as it's being ordered, is ready to go. Avoid. So that's one of the ways to fix it, right? Just in time, making sure that your orders match your orders match the inventory. You don't want to have inventory always in stock. And there's another side of the coin where you don't even have inventory ready for orders. You don't want that to happen, because what is the issue with that? The issue is that if you have someone that is not fulfilling your inventory, like orders, I want something, and every time I come to you, you say, oh, it's stocked out, it's stocked out, it's out, it's out, it's out. You keep on saying that it's out. Do you know that I'll stop coming to buy from you because I'll go to somewhere else that has it? And we call that stock out cost, the cost of not having that product. So as we're trying to be efficient, I say, oh, just in time inventory management system, very good. You have to also make sure that, you're not the other side saying that, oh, there's no inventory because the orders are there. There's a lot of orders on this product, and I can't meet the orders. You can't do that. You have to make sure you manage your inventory very well, right? To thrive, right? You have to make sure you keep your clients, you keep your customers. And if I'm your customer and you keep on telling me that, oh, you don't have this, oh, certainly you will not see this. Your customer that you're seeing very soon will not be that customer. So just letting you know, make sure you always have inventory. All right. And then make sure also on the other side, flip side, is that you don't have too much. By having a very good inventory management system, that very soon, very quickly, it has inventory as and when needed. All right. Awesome. Okay. The next question is, I'm a perfectionist. I am afraid to delegate. How can I fix this? I know many people that are like this. So, sometimes I try to, I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist, but sometimes I really go the extra mile when it comes to like accounting or whatever. I like to make sure that everything is doing well when it comes to my own job. I'm not saying everything. So in this case, the person is saying that the person is a perfectionist and afraid to delegate. How can I fix this? Well, you need to, first of all, I want to let you know, first of all, you need to delegate, because there is no way you can know and do everything. I would say put a process in place. Make sure you put a process in place and explain to people what your expectations are. Now, a lot of people make this mistake. They tell people, this is what I really want to have. No, they'll say, this is what I need this done. I need this done. They just said, I need this done especially in small businesses. Oh, do this for me, do this, get this done. And if they don't do it well, oh gosh, what happened? This is not good. They feel, oh, they didn't do it well. But did you tell the person what you expect to be done? It's not like get it done without giving the person specifics. Especially when you're a perfectionist, you need to give that person specifics. What is it that you require, right? Let everybody know. For me, communication is what is key. If there's no communication, then there's a big issue. Communication is key. The issue here is you're telling the person, oh, the person is not doing what what you expected he or she to do. You're disappointed, but did you give the person your guidelines or your specific expectations? So I would say that once you put your expectations in front of everybody, once there's open lines of communication that people can walk up to you or call you and say, oh, this is what you said. Please, can you clarify? Please, can you clarify? I'm not saying that at the beginning, everybody will be perfect, right? But with time, you'll find out that people say, oh, my boss likes it this way. Let's do it. I'm now familiar with what my boss likes. All right. So I would say that, yeah, it's difficult when you're a perfectionist. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making sure things are perfect, but it doesn't really work that way. And at the end of the day, you don't want to be burnt out and just something happens to you and you just all the perfection. Because the job doesn't. You're not well enough. Because you've always wanted. It gives you someone that is like that. I'm not a medical person, but I will tell you that I believe through. Again, I'm not a medical person, but I know that even me, when I'm talking from my own experience, when I'm agitated because I have a lot of things to do, it doesn't all go well for me. So I'm using my own, my own experience. Again, I'm not a medical person now. So I would say that you have to find time to tell your staff what you expect from them, And then, of course, check their work, not aspect criticism or telling them, oh my goodness, you can't do better than this. No, this is assuming that they did well, but assuming that well means that 70% of job is really good, but 30% is not, right? You focus on 30% and say, okay, I've seen that this 30% is not really the best. How do we fix it? Okay, how do you fix it? And you work and make sure that 30% is done well. And it's something that it continues, that before you know it, 80% works will look great. Then 90, then all of a sudden, everything will look beautiful. All right. So it's you have to delegate. You have to delegate. And this is one of the ways that I said, based on my experience and my knowledge base. And then, of course, you don't delegate to you know who can take your work seriously. There are many areas in your business that you can allocate people, tell them, allocate. I'm saying this is what they should do, but there are some specifics that you want people that are excellent in their job. And you would know people that listen to instructions, people that take correction, there are some people you can't correct them. They're not, and I mean, you might say, okay, why is the person working with you? Yeah, that's a good question, right? I mean, anybody that cannot take correction, that's a big issue, all right? Because you want everybody to flow, and that's not a good sign if the person can't take correction, all right? Okay, so hopefully I've answered the perfectionist question, all right? We have a couple, not a couple, maybe, I think I can take one or two more before I go today. Let's see if I can take one or two more. Okay, how do I identify profitable clients? Or I guess profitable clients or customers? Well, I think it would be tailored towards clients, because customers really, they buy things retail and everything like that. Now, when I say profitable customers, what happens is that, or clients, clients is that, when you're dealing with clients, I would say do an analysis and look at the area that brings you the most profits and build on that. All right, build on that. What makes you the most profit? Which area really gives you the most profit? And then you build on that, right? You have clients that, maybe you're someone that does it, maybe you specialize in 3 areas, right? You find out that, let's say you specialize in design, let's say you're an interior decorator, design, consulting, and actually setting up. Design, consulting, and setting up, right? Design, consulting, and setting up. So you look at it and say, okay, what is the best way? What's the easiest? What do I do? Then you say, okay, I see my design, the customers I have in design, they're good, but they're not, I'm not making that. I'm making money, but not that kind of money. Consulting, people call me to consult. Yeah, here and there I have some people that call me, some people that are actually in design and they know I'm good and they call me here and there. I charge them hourly fee here and there. But the setup, because I set up, I'm interior decor, I set up for celebrations, I set up for weddings, I set up for, so that is the area, and you make money from that's the out of the 3 areas, you feel that this is the area that you do well, and you make a lot of money from that third area, right? Which is the setup. So what should you do? You focus on clientele from that. You build your business and advertise those kind of people, because that's where your money, should I say bread and butter? That's where your money is. Now, I'm not saying you should not allocate time here and there, but your focus should be where the money is coming from. And I would say that if the money is coming from that setup area, advertise, build. You understand? That's the focus. That should be your focus. All right. So, it could apply to any business, but I would say that you have to look at which area gives you the most profitable clients. Okay. So make sure that is the area you want to focus on. All right. So make sure that is, as I said, the bread and butter of that business, of your business. Right. And it can apply to any business. So you just have to sit down. I think the last 2 episodes, I talked about SWOT analysis. You just need to sit back and really do an analysis and say, okay, which area is really bringing me the funds, the money, and you build on that. All right, you build on that. You make sure you expand on that, right? Advertise, get it out there, tell, do referrals, right? And make sure people know what is it that you're doing. All right, in that area. I mean, people, but let more people, when I say people, I say let more people get to know what you're doing in that area. All right. Okay. So, yeah, we have some more time, so, okay. As the year is running to an end, that's the next question. Any additional tax and savings? All right. I should actually talk about this, I believe, in my next episode, but I'm just going to talk a little bit here. I usually do tax planning for clients at this time. This is the time to do tax planning or just to talk to your CPA. If you don't have a CPA, talk to your CPA. If you have a CPA, talk to your CPA. If you don't have a CPA, of course, you can give me just go to my website and just, sign up for consulting. Now, as the year is running to an end, this is the time to sit back. First of all, look at all your deductions. Make sure you're maximizing all your deductions. Make sure if there's anything that you need to buy for this 2022, go ahead and purchase it. Some people just procrastinate. Oh, I need to buy a new computer. I need to buy a new printer. Go ahead and sort that out this year, right? Take all your deductions because you're still going to buy it. It's not like, but you're procrastinating. Sit back and analyze what are the expenses that I need to take care of right now, right? What are the expenses I need to take care of right now, and take care of that immediately, right? Do that, right? And then also, I talk about this all the time. Documentation. Make sure everything is aligned as you're taking all those expenses and everything. Make sure that there's documentation. Do not use cash to buy items. Do not use cash. I mentioned this before because of paper trail. You want to be able to, make sure that when you swipe your credit card, swipe your debit card, this paper trail. Make sure. All right. That's another one. Another aspect, something else that you can do is, I mentioned the expenses. What else you can do? And something else that you can do in addition to those expenses. If there's anything, okay, this also aligns with expenses. If there's anything that you need, like the training is still part of the expenses too. Whatever you need to, a lot of us have certifications, right? Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to take before the end of the year, please go ahead and do that, okay? So I would say maximize your expenses, check and make sure that everything that you need to, all the deductions you need to take, please go ahead and do it. Very, very important. So that is what I would say, that the main important aspect. The second one is, I know I spoke about this before. Now, a lot of companies, small businesses are offering retirements. They're offering retirements, right? Make sure that if there's if you need a retirement plan, because one thing about retirement plan is it's a way of savings, right? Now, the thing about retirement plans that people don't know is that, it's actually a deduction from your business. Of course, it depends on the kind of retirement plan you have. I went through a couple of them a couple of episodes ago. And retirement plans are very, very good. Very, very good. And even if you set it up now, there are some retirement plans will give you till the tax filing deadline to actually contribute to the plan. So is a way that you can actually deduct that from your business expense. Is a very important way to have tax savings, right? A lot of people are high net worth clients, and they don't know that they can actually deduct. They don't know they can actually set up something within their company. So please make sure that that's one of the ways, retirement. Now, if you don't have an HSA plan, any of these FSA, which is health savings or flexible spending account, so think of that too, because those are not taxable. I always tell people that you always when you go to the doctor, most people have deductibles, have copay, right? And you do copay after tax. But if you have an HSA or FSA, you do not do it after tax, you do pre-tax, and those things are not taxable. So think of that account. Do you have a flexible spending account, the HSA account? What kind of those accounts are also important. Talk to your accountant, your CPA. If you don't have that, a CPA, of course, we can work with you guys, but it's good to have that. It's good to have an HSA or FSA plan. It's also good to have a retirement plan. Very important. Another way to have tax savings as a SME is look at your business structure. Business structure, I believe I've spoken about this before, but if I haven't, I will have an episode where I'll speak about business structure, right? A business, the right business structure, will definitely allow you to pay less taxes, So please make sure you have the right business structure, Now, right is a very ambiguous word, right? There are so many business structure. There's S Corp, there's C Corp, you have the sole proprietorship, which, let me see. Do you have an LLC? An LLC is taxed as a sole proprietorship if it has one member, or taxed as a partnership if it has more than one member. But of course, you can elect for an LLC to be a corporation, right? There are a lot of modalities, of course. I'm not going to go into the technical aspect of it, but I just want you guys to know that your business structure can allow you to pay less taxes or more taxes. It depends. So you need to do tax planning to make sure you're in the right umbrella, the right business structure. Okay, so those are a few points. I believe I'll break it down further, because I just feel that the year is ending, and it's important for all of us to know. I'll break it down a little bit further. If this is just a question, and I just gave some pointers, but I'll break it down to make sure that we are on the right path when it comes to tax savings. Again, make sure you sit back and really go through those expenses. Make sure you think of that retirement plan. So retirement plans are very, very are very, very easy to set up, and they don't cost the company so much money. So, but just make sure you're looking at that, you're investigating and making sure you're looking into that. All right. So that's generally what I would say when it comes to a few pointers for rounding up in 2022. A lot of tax savings. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for today. I would really encourage you to make sure that you're really analyzing and sitting back and making sure that you maximize your tax savings. And also, when you're choosing to buy or lease a car, make sure you're going through the pointers to see what works for you. I know I mentioned this, the perfectionist, delegate, and of course, make sure you identify the clients that bring you the money. Okay. And I talked about inventory too. Remember, just in time inventory, and also remember that you don't want stock out costs. You want things to still be on your shelf. Basically not overstocking yourself. All right. So great to have all of you. It's so awesome. Every Tuesday I come in the 6 to 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Beautiful time. I really enjoy being here and enjoy today's program. I'll see you next week. All right. Bye for now. And remember, right? To have a thriving business, you must be intentional. All right. Take care. Bye for now. Thanks for having me. Remember to join my live podcast on Tuesdays, 6 to 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Visit my website, driniadesina.com, for details. Till next time, bye for now.